Have you ever felt like you're living a life that isn't quite yours? As if there's another version of you, out there, somewhere, living a life full of purpose, peace, and power, and you can almost feel it, like a whisper in your chest? Maybe it's a dream you can't let go of, a vision that keeps replaying in your mind, a reality that feels so close, yet still just out of reach. This isn't just fantasy. And no, it's not about manifesting like you've heard on social media or repeating affirmations until your throat runs dry. It's deeper, more ancient, more precise. There's a secret language the universe speaks, a code invisible to the eye but felt in the soul. It's called the quantum frequency. And once you learn how to tune into it, you don't chase life anymore. Life finds you. Life follows you. You don't wish for alignment. You become alignment. Now let's begin. Part 1. The hidden code beneath your reality. Most people go through life believing that their path is determined by a combination of effort, talent, and maybe a sprinkle of luck. You've probably been told to work harder, try longer, hustle more until you reach that imagined tipping point where everything finally falls into place. Maybe you've believed that if you just had more natural ability, more connections, or more time, things would change. You might have even thought that it's all just random left up to fate or some cosmic roulette. But the truth is far deeper than that. Beneath all the visible components of life, beneath action, opportunity, and even ambition, there's a hidden framework that silently weaves your reality together. And that hidden framework is frequency. It's not loud. It's not flashy, but it is constant. You are emitting a frequency every single moment, through your thoughts, through your emotions, through your beliefs, and even through the unconscious patterns you repeat without knowing. Every second, every breath, every heartbeat, you are broadcasting a signal into the universe. Now, picture reality like a giant radio station. Not just one station, but an infinite number of stations all playing at the same time. Each one broadcasting a different version of life. Some are stations of joy, overflowing with laughter, love, connection, purpose, and abundance. Others are tuned to chaos, repeating loops of struggle, stress, fear, and resistance. There are stations of deep inner peace and stations of constant anxiety, stations of thriving love, and others of aching loneliness. All these stations are real. All of them exist. And this is the key. You can only receive the broadcast that matches the frequency you're currently tuned into. That means the reality you're experiencing right now, everything from your relationships to your finances, your self-worth to your health, is not random. It is not accidental. It is not punishment. It is not even solely the result of your effort. It is the direct echo of the frequency you carry inside you. You see, you are a transmitter, a living, breathing, vibrating transmitter. And just like a radio, you can't tune into a station playing classical music if your dial is set to heavy metal. You won't hear love when you're tuned into fear. You won't access abundance if your internal frequency is stuck in lack. You won't experience deep peace if you're vibrating with anxiety and unworthiness. You could be doing everything right on the outside. You might be journaling, meditating, setting goals, reciting affirmations. You might be visualizing your dream life every single morning. But if your internal frequency, the core of what you really feel, what you really believe, is still anchored in fear, in doubt, in shame, or in lack, then that is the reality you will keep experiencing. It will feel like you're working so hard, only to get nowhere. Like you're yelling your dreams into a void, and all you hear is silence. Or worse, static. That's the frustrating part for so many people. They start on the path of transformation with hope in their hearts. They learn about mindset, energy, manifestation, and begin making positive changes. They visualize success. They speak their affirmations. They say things like, "I am wealthy. I am loved. I am powerful." But behind those words, the signal being broadcast is still one of desperation, or disbelief, or frustration. So they begin to wonder, why isn't this working? I'm doing the work. I'm showing up. I'm trying so hard. But here's what they've missed. Visualization without vibrational alignment is like trying to tune into your favorite music station using a broken antenna. The signal just won't come through clearly. It's not that you're wrong. It's not that you're broken. It's not that the universe is ignoring you. It's that your internal frequency, real signal you're broadcasting is not matching the frequency of the life you're asking for. And this changes everything. You don't need more hustle. You don't need to try harder. You don't need to push or force or beg. You need alignment. Not surface-level alignment. Not pretending. Not saying the right words while secretly feeling the opposite. True alignment. Cellular alignment. Heart-level alignment. You need your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs, your actions all vibrating in harmony with the frequency of the life you want to live. Now you might be asking, alignment with what exactly? And the answer is beautiful in its simplicity. Alignment with the version of reality you keep dreaming about. Alignment with the version of you who already lives in that reality. Because here's a truth that will shake your soul awake. That life you keep imagining, that version of you who feels radiant, free, deeply fulfilled, and at peace, that version of you is not a fantasy. It's not a wish. It's not a someday dream. It's a real frequency. It already exists, right now. Not in the distant future. Not after 10 years of struggle. Not after you've earned it. It exists now, on a different vibrational level. Like a radio signal playing your favorite song on a nearby station. It's already playing. You just haven't tuned into it yet. That's your only job. Not to chase it. Not to create it from scratch. Not to force it into existence. Your only job is to match the frequency. So how do you do that? You start by becoming deeply honest with yourself. Ask, what frequency am I really vibrating with right now? When you close your eyes, do you feel safe in your body? Do you feel joy in your heart? Or is there tension, resistance, fear? Do you truly believe that you are worthy of love, of abundance, of peace? Or is there a quiet voice whispering, not yet, not you, maybe later? That voice matters because it's emitting a signal, and the universe is always listening. You might think it's only about your actions, but energy precedes action. Frequency comes first. Your outer world doesn't lead your inner world, it reflects it. So to shift your reality, you don't force the outside. You adjust the inside. You don't fake a new life. You align with the frequency of the one already waiting for you. This doesn't mean ignoring your pain or pretending everything's perfect. It means gently, courageously shifting your inner state, moment by moment, breath by breath. Start with awareness. Notice the moments when your energy dips, when you're pulled back into scarcity, when you spiral into self-doubt. Don't judge those moments, just observe them. Then, make a conscious choice to return. Return to love. Return to possibility. Return to alignment. One thought at a time. Choose the belief that matches your dream reality, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Even if your logical mind resists it, even if your past tells a different story. Choose again, and again, and again, because every moment is a chance to retune your signal. And over time, you will shift your frequency not by force, but by frequency fidelity. And then, the external world begins to shift too. Suddenly, people start treating you differently. Opportunities appear where none existed before. The things you used to chase begin to flow to you, not because you earned them, but because you finally aligned with the version of reality where they were already yours. You'll realize it was never about hustling your way there. It was always about remembering your power to choose the frequency of your life. This is not about magic, it's about magnetism. It's not about pretending, it's about becoming. It's not about reaching for some distant mountaintop, it's about awakening to what has always been within. You are not a victim of your reality. You are its composer, and your frequency is the pen. So now, ask yourself, what kind of song do you want to write? What kind of station do you want to tune into? What kind of life are you ready to align with? Because the code has never been hidden from you. It's been waiting beneath your thoughts, behind your actions, beyond your fears. It's in your vibration. And once you learn how to tune in, once you understand that the signal comes from you, not to you, you will realize you've had the power all along, not to force the universe, but to flow with it, not to demand change, but to become it. Part 2. The science of vibration and why your thoughts aren't enough. Let's go deeper now. Not just into concepts, not just into surface ideas, but into the very nature of reality, into the unseen fabric that makes up everything around you and within you. Because if you're truly ready to shift your life, if you're truly ready to step into the most powerful version of yourself, then you must understand this. Everything, and I mean everything in the universe, is energy. Everything you see, everything you touch, everything you think, feel, and experience, it's all made of energy. From the atoms in your body, to the chair you're sitting on, to the light coming through your window, to your hopes, fears, thoughts, dreams, and even memories, all of it, energy. But not just static energy, not frozen, not still. Vibrating energy, constantly moving, constantly shifting, constantly dancing to a rhythm most people can't see but everyone can feel. At the smallest, most microscopic level, the level where matter becomes mystery, we are not solid. We are not fixed. We are not rigid. We are waves, vibrations, frequencies in motion. And that's not just spiritual poetry. That's not just a metaphor. It's science. It's quantum physics. The same physics that governs the stars governs you. Physicists have long discovered what mystics have always known. The universe is not made of things. It's made of energy patterns. And those patterns vibrate constantly. Your body is a symphony of vibrating particles. Your brain is an electromagnetic machine. Your heart sends out more electric charge than any other organ in your body. You are not a passive observer of life. You are a broadcasting station. Every cell, every emotion, every breath broadcasts a signal into the quantum field. And here's where things get truly powerful. Your emotions carry a frequency. Think about that for a moment. Not just the words you say or the thoughts you think, but the emotions you feel deep in your gut, deep in your chest, deep in your nervous system. They are transmitting a signal. Your beliefs, also frequencies. Your memories, frequencies too. Each emotion has its own energetic fingerprint. Low vibrates high. Gratitude, here still. Joy, freedom, peace, all emit bright, radiant frequencies. But fear, worry, shame, they pull your vibration downward. They dim the signal, not because they're bad, not because you should never feel them, but because they shift your energetic broadcast. So let's bring this into real life. When you wake up in the morning and you're already anxious, when you feel rushed, when you're overwhelmed by everything you have to do, you are not just feeling emotions. You are emitting a low frequency into the field around you. And that frequency, it becomes your point of attraction, like a tuning fork that pulls matching vibrations toward it. You begin to draw in experiences, people, and patterns that resonate with that low frequency. But when you wake up and feel grounded, when you breathe slowly, with intention, when you start your day with gratitude or appreciation, you're transmitting something entirely different. You're broadcasting from a place of trust, of alignment, of power, and the universe responds in kind. This is why the universe doesn't respond to the words you say. It responds to the vibration you are. Let that land. You can say affirmations all day long. You can write them in your journal, speak them out loud, even plaster them on your walls. But if, underneath those words, you still feel unworthy, if your body tightens when you say, I am powerful, if your breath shortens when you declare, I am abundant, then the dominant frequency you're emitting is still unworthiness, fear, lack. The universe reads the vibration, not the words. You can say, I am wealthy 100 times, but if your stomach knots when you open your bank account, if you feel shame every time you spend money, if your nervous system is flooded with fear about the future, then what you're actually broadcasting is a signal of scarcity. And that's the signal the universe responds to. This is why so many people get frustrated with the law of attraction. They say, I tried affirmations, but nothing happened. I visualized my dream life, but I'm still stuck. I followed the steps. Why isn't it working? The answer is both simple and profound. Because they treated it like a trick, not a transformation. They tried to say new things without becoming a new frequency. They stayed in the same body, the same state, the same emotional signature, but hoped for a new reality. It doesn't work that way. You cannot create a new external world with the same old internal vibration. You cannot align with the frequency of freedom while still vibrating in fear. This is where the deeper work begins. This is where real transformation happens. Not in your mind, but in your nervous system. In your body, in the field you carry, you must go deeper than thought. You must shift the vibration underneath the thought, because vibration is the root. Thought is the branch. Change the root, and the whole tree transforms. So how do you begin? First, with awareness. Awareness is the ignition key. It turns on the light. It opens the doorway. Begin to notice. What frequency am I living in? Am I living in survival? Am I constantly bracing for the next crisis, always on edge, always managing, fixing, solving, reacting? Or am I living in alignment? Am I trusting the flow of life? Am I moving from peace, responding from clarity, choosing from vision instead of fear? This awareness is the first shift. It's the moment the radio begins to tune. The moment the static gives way to clarity. When you become aware of your vibration, you take your power back, because now you can shift. And when you shift your internal state, your external world must follow, not by force, not by micromanaging every detail, but by resonance. Because reality isn't created by effort alone, it's created by energetic agreement. You attract what you are, not what you want. So if you want to attract love, become love. If you want to receive abundance, embody abundance. If you want peace, generate peace. And yes, it takes practice. Yes, it takes patience. Yes, it takes presence. Because your old vibrations have momentum. Your old beliefs have history. Your nervous system has memory. You've been wired for a certain frequency, maybe for years. But the good news? Your body is always listening. It's listening to the signals you give it. It's learning from your breath, your focus, your attention. It can be rewired. It can be retuned. You are not a fixed frequency. You are dynamic. You are electric. You are magnetic. And you can choose moment by momento, shift your state. Start small. Start with your breath. Breathe in slowly. Exhale fully. Feel what happens. Your vibration begins to rise. Now, place your hand on your heart. Feel the beat. Speak gently to yourself. Say, I am safe. Say, I am enough. Say, right now, I choose peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because your peace does not depend on perfection. Your peace is a frequency you can choose independent of circumstance. That is your power. When you begin choosing your vibration intentionally, when you begin living from the inside out, when you learn to anchor yourself in the energy of the life you desire, You begin to magnetize that life toward you, not by chasing, but by becoming. And that's the real secret. That's the science and the soul of it. You don't get what you want. You get what you vibrate. Not because the universe is testing you. Not because you have to prove anything, but because vibration is the language of reality. And the universe is fluent. So now ask yourself, what are you broadcasting? What emotions are you feeding? What beliefs are you embodying? Because every thought, every feeling, every reaction is not just a moment. It's a message, a signal, a frequency. And that frequency determines what you will receive. So go beyond the surface. Don't just think positive. Feel elevated. Live aligned. Let your nervous system become your guide. Let your emotions become your teachers. Let your frequency become your compass. Because when you change your vibration, you don't just attract new outcomes. You become a new self. And that self, that's the one who's been waiting. Not in the distance, not in the future, but inside you, right now, tuned in, ready, and rising. Part 3, Real Stories, Real Shifts. When frequency becomes reality. Let me tell you a story. It's not a fairy tale. It's not an ancient myth. It's real. And maybe, just maybe, it might remind you of something in your own journey. There was a man mid-30s, sharp, smart, driven. He had followed the path that society praises. He went to school, got good grades, landed the job. He climbed the ladder, earned the respect, got the paycheck, had the apartment in the city, the car, the watch, the suits. From the outside, it looked like he had made it. But inside, he was slowly fading. Every morning, he'd wake up and stare at the ceiling. Blank, numb, wondering not just how he got there, but why he felt nothing. No excitement, no joy, no connection. Not depressed, not broken, just disconnected. You see, he wasn't poor. He wasn't in crisis. He wasn't desperate. But something was missing. Something big. He couldn't put his finger on it, but deep inside, there was a growing ache. An inner whisper that said, "This can't be it. There has to be more." So, he did what many seekers do. He started looking. He read the self-help books. He went to the seminars, watched every motivational video he could find. He started journaling at night, practicing affirmations, trying to manifest something better. He even tried scripting his dream life before bed, every single night. He visualized, he imagined, he wrote things like, "I am living with purpose, I am fulfilled, I am aligned." But day after day, month after month, nothing changed. He was still waking up to the same ceiling, asking the same questions, feeling the same void. Then, one day, after a particularly brutal meeting at work, a meeting where he felt small, dismissed, and invisibly walked to his car. He sat in the driver's seat, turned off the engine, and just sat there. Silence. No music. No phone. No distractions. Just him, the steering wheel, and a weight pressing on his chest that had been building for years. He placed his hands on the wheel, closed his eyes, and whispered something so simple, yet so powerful. "I surrender. I don't know what to do anymore." And in that stillness, something shifted. It wasn't dramatic. No lightning bolt, no booming voice from the clouds. It was subtle, gentle, almost unnoticeable, but it was real. It was a feeling, a soft, deep sense of release. A loosening of all the inner tension he didn't even realize he was holding. A letting go of control. A dropping of the need to force, to figure out, to fix. He had been gripping life so tightly, trying to bend it to his will. But in that moment, he exhaled. And when he did, something inside him aligned. That moment of surrender carried a frequency, a calm, trusting, open signal to the universe. A signal that said, "I'm ready. Not to fight for my life, but to feel it again." And that frequency, it was louder than any affirmation he'd ever spoken. 2 months later, just 2 months, a job offer came. Not from the same industry, Not from a recruiter, but from a friend of a friend, out of the blue. The offer wasn't bigger, it wasn't flashier. In fact, it paid less at first, but it felt right. It felt aligned. It spoke to his passion. It involved creativity, people, freedom. The work didn't drain him, it inspired him. He felt alive again, connected, purposeful. And guess what? Within a year, he wasn't just happier. He was wealthier. Not just financially, though that too came, but emotionally, spiritually, energetically. Why? Because he had stopped chasing a life from the frequency of lack and started aligning with a life that was already waiting for him. He didn't attract a new life by fighting harder. He attracted it by becoming the version of himself who could receive it. He didn't demand more from the universe. He finally allowed it in. Now, let me tell you another story. A different soul, a different journey. This one's about a woman, late 20s, recently heartbroken. She had given her heart fully to someone who didn't see her worth. She stayed too long, ignored the red flags, tried to fix something that was never hers to fix. And when it ended, she felt invisible. She looked in the mirror and saw emptiness. Not because she wasn't beautiful, but because she had forgotten how to feel beautiful. Every day, she moved through the world like a ghost, smiling when she needed to, performing, pretending. But inside, she felt invisible, unseen, forgotten. She believed love wasn't for her, until one day, she decided to try something radical. Not to get someone back, not to attract a new partner, but to heal herself. She decided to act as if she was already loved. Not fake it, not pretend, but to embody it, to become it. She began speaking to herself like someone who mattered. She stopped tearing herself apart in the mirror, started dressing in ways that made her feel radiant not for anyone else, but for her. She smiled at strangers, gave compliments freely. She wrote love notes to herself. She made a playlist called Love is Inevitable and danced to it every morning. Even on days when it hurt. Even when her heart still ached. Even when she felt like crying. Because she understood. If she waited to feel loved until someone else showed up, she'd stay trapped. She had to change her frequency first. And slowly, the world began to respond. It wasn't overnight. It wasn't a movie montage. But little by little, things began to shift. People noticed her. Opportunities opened. She laughed more. Felt lighter. Felt seen. Eventually, yes, love came. A real, deep, nourishing love. But by then, something even bigger had happened. She didn't need love to feel whole, because she was whole. She had become the version of herself who was already loved, already chosen, already complete. And that woman? She was magnetic. Because once you become the person who lives the life you desire, that life has no choice but to meet you. That's not magic. That's frequency. That's quantum alignment. It's the truth most people miss. Life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you what you are aligned with. And that alignment isn't something you force. It's something you tune into. The moment you stop trying to chase your desire sands, start becoming the version of yourself who naturally receives everything shifts. Because your outer world is a mirror of your inner frequency. Want to be seen? See yourself first. Want to feel loved? Become the embodiment of love. Want to live with purpose? Stop waiting for permission and start living like your life already matters. Because it does. Let's be honest. Most people are waiting. Waiting to feel happy. Waiting to feel worthy. Waiting for the money, the relationship, the recognition. Waiting for the right job, the right timing, the right sign. And while they wait, they vibrate at the frequency of lack. But what if you flipped the script? What if you started feeling the frequency of the life you desire right now? Not pretending, not faking, but embodying it as a choice, as a practice, as a way of being. What would happen? Here's what would happen. You'd become a magnet. Your energy would shift. Your body would open. Your nervous system would relax. Your mind would become clear. You'd start noticing opportunities that were always there, but you couldn't see them before. You'd meet people who feel like they were sent by the universe itself. You'd begin to trust life, not because it's perfect, but because you are in resonance. That's the hidden magic. That's the quantum truth. When you become a vibrational match for the life you want, that life has no choice but to find you. It's not mystical fluff. It's science. It's energy. It's alignment. So today, ask yourself, what am I becoming? Who am I choosing to be moment by moment? What frequency am I broadcasting through my emotions, my body language, my thoughts, and my choices? Because everything you are putting out is a message. And the universe is always listening. It's not waiting for you to be perfect. It's waiting for you to be authentic. It's not asking for more effort. It's asking for more alignment. And alignment begins with one thing: becoming the version of yourself who already lives the life you desire. That version of you isn't far away. It's not in the distance. It's not in the future. It's right here, within you, waiting. And all it takes is a shift in frequency, a shift in how you breathe, how you speak, how you show up. Because when your frequency changes, everything else follows. And that, my friend, is the true power of transformation. Not by chasing, not by forcing, but by becoming. Part 4. The silent saboteur: why you keep falling out of alignment. By now, you might be wondering, if it's really about frequency and I start shifting how I feel, why do I still fall back into my old patterns? Why do you feel aligned one day, but drained and doubtful the next? Why does your vision feel so clear in the morning, yet fade away by nightfall? The answer is this: your nervous system isn't convinced yet. You see, most people try to raise their vibration with their mind, but they forget that the body remembers pain. The body holds trauma. The body stores fear. The body clings to patterns of safety, even if those patterns keep you stuck. So every time you try to elevate, every time you reach for something higher, your subconscious pulls you back. Not because it wants to sabotage you, but because it thinks it's protecting you. Staying small, staying safe, staying predictable has been your default survival mode. That's why the biggest block to mastering the quantum frequency isn't the world outside you. It's the frequency of your past, echoing in your nervous system, playing on repeat. But here's the powerful truth. You don't have to erase the past. You don't have to fight it. You just have to stop feeding it. Every time you choose to breathe instead of panic, to observe instead of react, to love instead of fear, you weaken the old signal and strengthen the new one. And that new signal? It doesn't just change your mood, it reshapes your future. Because in the quantum world, reality is not fixed. It responds to the dominant frequency you broadcast over time. Even when things seem stuck, even when the outer world hasn't caught up yet, you must remember, the vibration comes first. The manifestation comes after. So when it gets hard, when doubt creeps in, when old fears whisper louder, don't fall into the illusion. The old reality is just an echo. Hold the frequency anyway. Feel it until it feels normal. Live it until it feels inevitable. Because the moment it becomes your baseline, the world around you begins to shift almost effortlessly. Part 5. You are the frequency, now live it. So here you are, not at the end of a video, but at the edge of a new timeline, a different version of you, the one who walks in confidence, who breathes in peace, who wakes up to a life that feels aligned, fulfilled, and true, isn't waiting in some distant future. That version of you already exists. Not in fantasy, not in fiction, but in frequency. And all the pain, all the confusion, all the searching, it wasn't a waste. It was preparing you to remember what you forgot. You don't have to force the universe to give you anything. You just have to become the version of you who already has it. Because once you become the signal, you stop chasing. You start attracting. You stop begging for signs. You become the sign. So today, I invite you to stop asking, When will my life change? And start asking, what frequency am I choosing right now? Are you choosing to vibrate in the past or align with the future that already wants to meet you? You don't need another technique. You don't need to be better. You simply need to remember, you are already enough to receive what you keep visualizing. So breathe into that truth. Let it anchor into your body and walk forward not as the person who is waiting for a breakthrough, but as the person who already is the breakthrough. The universe isn't separate from you. It's responding to you, moment by moment, signal by signal, vibration by vibration. And the moment you master the frequency, you unlock the life that has been waiting for you all along.